I honestly lost count of how many people made bargains and didn't live up to their side of them. Things that go boom. Gotham Season 4 Episode 10. I was a little nervous going into this one because Let the Meat Pie was so good. I worried that there was going to be, a dip. Because that happens sometimes. You have a really, episode and then the next one can't measure up to it. This did not have that sort of dive off a cliff. This was really good. I guess, with my intro, I brought that up because I think there might have been just a little bit too much. Oh, well, we'll make you this deal. Aha, not really. And I'm not gonna, that happened maybe once or maybe too many times, actually. But this was a lot of fun. Reminder, no, I do not do spoiler free. So here we go. Penguin, yes. So much yes. They're doing a really good job this season of making it clear that, he's got his weaknesses, same ones he's always had. He's overly emotional and he can be easily manipulated on that level. But this episode also reminds everybody, the people in the show and the people watching, what makes him dangerous is that as much as you can manipulate him by his emotions, you still can't really predict him all that well. Up to a point, but eventually he's going to do something that is not what you thought he was going to do at all. And this emphasizes that really well. It was a great sort of putting Sophia on the back foot as well. She's growing on me. I'm starting to kind of get over the fact that they made the Sophia Falcone design that I love from the comics into a more standard attractive woman. I'm kind of getting over that because she is working the manipulation really well. Especially, I love how she turns on a dime. She seems to know when to switch up and when to do this. They may have started to push credibility, I can speak, slightly with how much she was manipulating. Like the fact that she had Martine lie and then she was planning that Penguin would torture her and that he would use this specific guy who she had information. It was a few steps too many that she claimed to have control of. But it took the curse off it at the end that Penguin just did something that she did not expect whatsoever. So I think it kind of it makes it okay that maybe she had too much control about the situation because all of it was gone by the end. So that worked really well. I'm liking that Barbara seems to be getting angry, which is good because it's bringing out the crazy in her a little bit again. You can see it in the eyes. Because when she was kind of in a more controlled situation, she was a bit too reined in this season. But I got that look when she said she was gonna break Penguin's beak in half. I'm like, that's the Barbara Keene I love. I'm starting to feel a little bit bummed out about Selena lately. I was originally really game for her joining up with Barbara and with Tabitha, but she doesn't. She just seems to kind of just be there. I mean, it really feels like it's Barbara running the show and Tabitha and Selena are just along for the ride. Tabitha I don't mind so much because she was paired with Barbara for so long anyway. Selena, I feel like we're missing her own agenda, her own sense of agency. She's feeling a little background right now, which I'm not loving. The new twists with Pig are interesting. I have to admit, I know Professor Pig a little bit from the comics. I don't know him deeply, so I don't know how much of this is stuff they're making up or stuff they're pulling from the comics. I don't care either way. It's fun. It was a great opener with him. Well, killing a guy with a record. Nice work. But beyond that, having the punch and then his jaw does something weird and he just snaps it back into place. It's like, what is going on? And we start to get the details. I'm like, I'm pleasantly surprised that we've got more to get out of Pig because I kind of assumed, well, he got arrested last episode. We're probably not going to see him again for a while. But instead, here he is right again. I'm really enjoying how they're balancing Lee right now with her getting her footing in this very dangerous criminal world that she's now operating in, but still maintaining her morals, her mission, her desire to help people. And I think they're balancing that in a way that's really interesting. I'm finding Ed interesting in terms of Lee's revelations about, okay, yeah, you had a physical issue briefly, but at this point, it's all in your head. And then as soon as he realized that, and like maybe he could even start to be okay again, there's the Riddler. And it's cheesy, but it's cheesy in the way that I like on Gotham. So that worked for me. And I think, Gordon, I'm admiring his resolve in trying to deal with Sophia Falcone, and she's obviously been playing him just as well as she was playing Penguin, except that I think she can probably continue to play Jim, whereas Penguin, I think she realizes that was a bad idea. I'm not going to try and do that again. The whole thing with Penguin and Martine and the car, I didn't necessarily call the explosion, but I had the thought when he first got Martine back, he's like, he's not gonna stab the kid, is he? And I'm glad he did. But I did have the thought, and then as soon as he said, "I'm not gonna let you use him as leverage for me," and I'm like, he's gonna blow that car up. Boom! Oh man, that was a good moment, even when I thought it was real. And normally it's the sort of thing that I would get annoyed, being like, oh, but it wasn't real. They were sneaky and whatnot. Normally that would annoy me. It kind of works for me here though, because it still plays to the truth of this version of Penguin's emotions and his attachments, and the fact that he probably wouldn't be able to do that, but it's really important that his enemies think he could. So that did ultimately work, even though on paper it's something that I probably wouldn't like usually, but that was well executed. Dug all that. I'm not sure there's too much else to talk about. Overall, it was just a really good, really fun episode. It was I think Let Them Eat Pie was a little bit better than this, but it's close. It's right up there at that level. Like, my only real complaint about it is Selena, as I mentioned, and yeah, man, this show's fun. So those are my thoughts on Things That Go Boom, the latest episode of Gotham. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter at Council of Geeks. Give a listen to the Council of Geeks podcast, available on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. I'm also one half of the Punch Like a Girl podcast. That is available on fireandwaterpodcast.com as part of the Fire and Water Podcast Network. Links for all this stuff is going to be down in the description. And until next time, this council is adjourned.